This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman and Riley Smith. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
Well, good day, everybody, and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Hoffman. Today is Thursday, August the 4th, 2022. We thank you for joining us. Coming up later on in the show, we're going to introduce you to our newest member of the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and we'll also take a look at your ag weather outlook. But first, let's run down those markets. It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net. We're at the end of the trading day for this Thursday, and we turn to Jacob Burks of agmarket.net. Jacob, it's a Thursday. We talked just before getting on the air. It was kind of an interesting day. Tell us what you've been able to figure out happened today.
These are one of the days that whenever the market's 60 cents higher than the soybeans and you kind of scratch your head and say, how did we get here? From a producer standpoint, it's, okay, enjoy the ride. And I think that's kind of where we're at. We have seen the interior part of the cash market really lead the way today. Whether it's corn or beans, you've seen some extremely strong basis improvements, on old crop across the most of the interior part. What that tells us is that these cash marketers, these end users need some grain, and maybe they're not as confident that we're going to have that replenishing mode come quickly when harvest happens. And so I think that's kind of been the story today. Your forecast really haven't changed, just a whole lot other than continuing to add some dryness along with some of this heat. You got the pivotal part of the soybean market, our growing season coming up here in the next, 2 to 3 weeks. And so that's the story right now is it's mostly driven off of weather. And then therefore that is driving your interior basis. And that's about the best excuse I can come up with. I don't think it was anything really foreseen. You have some different, mostly negative factors working against these grain prices. But we overcame that today in the weather, so that's what ruled the roost here.
Now, as you just mentioned, there are some negative factors that are fighting with that momentum that we had, upward momentum. Can you tell us what they are? Because I'm sure a lot of them are going to be pulling just as hard tomorrow as well.
You're right. I mean, if we're down tomorrow, we'll probably start blaming it on the fact that we don't know what China's going to do. They have been in our market. That if you saw the export sales today, we did send them some beans. They did have some export sales today. You've got the fact that Brazil crop is still the cheapest bean out there. I would say that you have a negative inflation, fighting the deflation or the inflation with some deflationary prices, but that's been strong. You have crude oil going down today, so there was just a lot of factors out there that. That we would have hung our hat on if we'd have been 10, 15, 20 lower today in the beans. But the fact of the matter is, that weather just overrode, all the negative factors that are out there.
I guess kind of one of them situations where obviously Mother Nature trumps everything, and it doesn't matter what the prices are or what direction they're moving if we don't have enough to sell, right? Right,
and I think the one thing you got to remember too is we're talking about $14 beans right now. We're talking about $6 corn. We're not talking about $3 corn and $10 beans. So any news is moving these factors on a percentage basis, not as much. But I think that all this volatility, we talk volatility. You get tired of saying it and hearing it, but it's extreme, and therefore a big movement. We've widened out. The CME's widened out the ranges that this market can move just to satisfy the market. And so I think that we have to be prepared for huge moves, and sometimes we even scratch our head. And I will say this, that I think that the reason that we being up 60 points today on something that's maybe we didn't think was that important was also the fact that maybe we shouldn't have went down as far as we did previously without the major part of the growing season giving us a pretty good heads up on what we have. Now remember, we got to be 177 in the corn and 50 bushels per acre in the soybeans, and it's going to take some big yields across a large part of the growing area. And some of these, if you're watching Twitter right now, you're definitely seeing some questionable stuff out there.
So what about on the livestock side of things in those cattle and hog markets? What did we see today?
Well, the cattle was simply just watching the grains trade today. I don't think they even did anything. We were at one point we were down $1.50 in the feeder cattle. We ended up closing this thing only 20 to 30 lower. The fats were down 20 to 30 in the fronts, and then back up 40 or 50 in the back months. Just not a lot of news out there, not a lot of movement. You haven't heard a lot out of the cash market and the fats. Now, on the positive side, you've seen an extreme move, nearly record spread between August and October. That tightened up about $2 today. So you got your October or August, trading pretty quietly down 35 points at $1.20 in the hogs, and the October was 97.60. That was up $1.70 on the day. So they were the highlight of the livestock trade. And realistically, you look across most of that, we're bumping up to high contract highs in the hogs. You're looking at cattle doing the same type of thing, making going back up to those April-May highs. So relatively quiet trade in the cattle, but man, we're still strong and we're still at a point too where you should probably look at some risk management if you're a cattle guy.
What about on the hog side of things? What did we see there?
On the hogs, I mean, you get your back months, your winter months going back up to those April-May livestock highs that we saw after having a pretty good pull up. Now, you look at that cheaper meat, that hog contract, you get out into the front months, the cash has really led the way on that. And I think as you go forward here, that could be the story as these back months are bumping up to 94, 95, and out there into the next summer, you're over $1 now. So I think that's kind of telling us what our inventories look like. I think the one question I would have is if our export program can keep up with that and continue the pace that we're on, and therefore keep that strength in that hog market.
All right, for folks out there that want to talk about market strategies and see where things are at, how do they get in touch with agmarket.net?
Man, the first thing we'd ask you to do is simply just go to our website, get on our 30-day free trial or agmarket.net intel. That gives all of our reports. Personally here, you can reach me at 608-384-5438.
All right. Well, thanks, Jacob. We appreciate the insight as always, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Dustin, take care. Have a good one.
That again was Jacob Burks of agmarket.net. Let's go ahead and take a look at how the markets panned out, courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. September corn was up 10 3/4 at 602 1/4. December new crop up a dime at 606 1/4. August soybeans up 57 cents at 16.15 even. November up 48 cents at 14.17 3/4. Soy meal up $22.10 per ton at 453.50 per ton. Soy oil 63 cents higher at 62.45. December Chicago wheat up 18.5 at 802 even. Minneapolis up 19 3/4 at 908 3/4. Kansas wheat up 24 1/4 at 868 even. Oats up 4.5 at 399 1/4. October live cattle were 30 cents lower at 143.65. August feeders down 27 cents at 179.07. August lean hogs down 35 cents at 120.65. Pork cutouts down 27 cents at 126.20. Class 3 milk was off 27 cents at 19.88. And that's been a check of your ag market recap. We're going to take a short break and hear from the folks at the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. And when we come back, we'll visit with the newest member of the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. This is AMPM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to AMPM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman, and joined right now by the newest member of the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, Mark Magnuson. Mark, for one thing, welcome to the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. We're glad to have you.
Thanks, Dustin. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit about your radio background and where you come from.
So I've been in radio now, if you count college, it would be about 15 years. I've been working in radio, if you count student radio at the University of Nebraska. And then I went to work for KICD Radio in Spencer, and I worked there for 12 years, and I was actually the sports guy there. So this has been a little bit of a lane change for me, and I've had fun so far trying to learn more about the side of radio that I haven't really worked in all that much, which is ag.
Now, you do come from farm family and stuff like that, so you do understand how agriculture works.
Yes, that's right. My dad worked in the hog industry for many, many years. He's now retired, and my grandfather was a farmer, so I learned a lot about farming from him. So yeah, I would say that I have a knowledge of farming. It's just that I haven't necessarily applied it to my work life all that much.
And for people who are watching this, they've probably already heard your voice on Agribusiness Matters on several of our Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliates. So not your first time, obviously, writing, so that you come with that professionalism. You come with basically a clean slate on agriculture, but you have that journalism background, and that was from Lincoln itself, right?
Yes, I have a journalism degree from the University of Nebraska, so hopefully I do have that writing background at least a little bit, and now just applying what I've learned as far as writing stories. Yes, I've done sports in the past, but now applying that to the ag field.
All right. So what is it that what made you decide to come down here? What kind of thing about agriculture interested you to make a kind of a subject change in radio?
Well, for one thing, we know right here in Iowa and in the heartland, agriculture kind of runs the show. And so that's exciting to me that ag is such an important part of our lives. And then, really just trying to expand my horizons, I guess. I've done sports for many years, so the ability to learn some new things and try some new things, I guess that's just something that appealed to me.
All right. So, and obviously you came at what we consider at the network our busiest month of the year. So we're kind of throwing you into the fire. I mean, next week we're already talking Iowa State Fair, and you're already just first hitting the ground running. So tell us a little bit about looking forward to that and what you hope to see there.
Yes, I've heard many stories already about how busy we're going to be during the fair. So I'm looking forward to trying a little bit of everything at the Iowa State Fair, because I know it's such a big attraction here in the state of Iowa. And so we can hopefully help to showcase that a little bit.
And it does help that we've got Riley here, who's actually incidentally behind the camera right now. But if anybody knows anything about the state fair, it's Riley. If he doesn't know it, it doesn't happen at the fair.
That's what it sounds like. You've mentioned a few times, do we want to try this, or this? And Riley says, well, yeah, I'll be there for that already. We don't even have to ask about it.
Yeah, he's already like, what show can I go to? What can I do this? He even knows where to get the best food at the fair, which stand, even though they may sell the same thing. If you want the cookies, you got to go to this one because they're better than that one. I mean, so it's going to be fun. And now you're also going to be coming to the Farm Progress Show at the end of the month. That's something that is really going to be kind of out of your element, but still something exciting, because obviously dealing with sports, it's fast-paced, and you're going to have to deal with fast-paced at the Farm Progress Show. But you're also going to get to learn a lot about agriculture and really get an education there.
Yeah, and part of that is just through, I think, doing interviews and talking to different people. So that will be certainly a chance to do that, not only at the state fair, but at the Farm Progress Show. I think learning about agriculture, yes, it's the busy time of the year, like you said, but it's also a good time to learn a lot.
So tell us so far. I mean, we're almost a week into your we're almost done with your first week, I should say, here at the network. Tell us something that you're enjoying about being here so far.
Well, like we said, just learning in general about the entire spectrum of agriculture and asking you guys questions and learning, hey, what does this term mean? What does this, I guess, account for when it comes to the markets and how they move and shift throughout the day and throughout the week? And so that's been exciting to see. And then, yeah, just, I guess, learning just new things in general and talking to some people, getting the chance to look at things from a different perspective.
Yeah, and like I said, it helps with your journalism background that it makes an easy adjustment to your subject matter. And, you didn't shy away from, we went through the training period, and day 2, you're already like, well, I'm ready to start trying that on my own. And so we're kind of spoon feeding you. And then now tomorrow you're going to actually start writing and everything without us giving you a subject content. And you're going to come up with a story all on your own and stuff. So I'm not that you haven't been before, but I'm saying is you're going to be taking it from start to finish already within your first week. And that's pretty good that you're willing to hit the ground running like that.
Yeah, well, thanks, Dustin. I appreciate that. I like the opportunity to try something on my own like that. It's exciting to get the chance to just say, hey, take what you can from this and make it your own. And so I hope I'm able to do that. And yeah, the rest of this week, I'm already looking forward to it. All
right. And so next week we'll get you out before the fair to get you your first kind of a remote broadcast, get the feel of that. You'll be joining me on the road, and you guys will be seeing more of Mark, around for the network and of course, at the Iowa State Fair. So make sure you come on down to our booth next to the Super Bowl. If not, just follow Riley. He'll be wandering around, and so you can just follow him back to the booth, and you'll be able to find us with no problem. So, Mark, we thank you for joining along with us on the network, and thank you for introducing yourself to our listeners.
Thanks so much, Dustin.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the Ag Weather Outlook. Well, we had sunny skies and warm temperatures across the state again today. Not as warm as it's going to get tomorrow and even into Saturday. Let's take a look at what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. As we said earlier, it was a sunny day across most of Iowa, maybe a few clouds here and there, but for the most part, a pretty nice day, but just a little bit to the warm side as we saw temps ranging anywhere from the mid to upper 80s, if not 90. Now tonight, it'll be mostly clear, not quite as cool as last night was, but we'll still see temperatures down around 62 to about 65 degrees. Now tomorrow, it will be mostly sunny and warmer as we hit the upper 80s to the mid 90s, and that's going to usher in some warmer temps even into the weekend. Des Moines, in fact, is staring down the possibility of triple digits coming up on Saturday. Looking at the affiliate weather map for tomorrow, Cherokee expects sunny skies and 88. Waterloo, sunny and 89. Clinton, sunny, the cool spot at 87. Now you get to the southern part of the state, and we see Des Moines, sunny skies, 95 will be the warm spot on our map. Albia, sunny and 92. Shenandoah, sunny and 93 degrees. For more detailed forecasts in your area, tune to your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliates. And that's been a check of your ag weather outlook. And with that, we're at the end of today's show. You can find all our content online at iowaagnet.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and also on our YouTube channel where you can find previous episodes of AMPM. You can also click that thumbs up, like, and the bell icon so you get notified every time we put out a new video. From the IRN studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Huffman. For Riley Smith, Avery Haskell, and Mark Magnuson, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.